Lieutenant Shinwei stood in the observation booth overlooking the demonstration arena at the 12th International Army Cadets Week, his tablet trembling slightly in his hands. Below, in a meticulously constructed urban warfare environment, something that shouldn't exist was moving with impossible precision. The robot mirrored its operator perfectly. Every duck, every pivot, every calculated movement translated instantly through layers of AI processing. But what unsettled Chen wasn't the technology itself. It was the look in Colonel Zhang's eyes as she watched from across the arena, a mixture of pride and something darker. Fear, perhaps, or recognition of what they'd unleashed. "Beautiful, isn't it?" Zhang said, appearing beside him without warning. She had a habit of doing that. Chen nodded, unable to look away from the machine below. "How many do we have operational?" "Enough." Zhang's smile didn't reach her eyes. "The Americans have their drone swarms. The Israelis have their autonomous border systems. We have this." Through the reinforced glass, the combat robot executed a tactical breach within human speed. No hesitation, no fear, no mercy. 3 months earlier, the remote mountains near the Vietnamese border had witnessed something extraordinary during Exercise Golden Dragon 2024. Major Sarah Chun of U.S. Army Intelligence had been reviewing satellite footage for 6 hours when she saw it. Quadrupedal robots moving in coordinated packs through the simulated battlefield, their mounted weapons tracking targets with algorithmic precision. "Jesus," she whispered, zooming in on one of the robotic dogs. Its camera array swept the terrain like a predator's eyes. "They're not just testing them, they're deploying them." Her supervisor, Colonel Martinez, leaned over her shoulder. "What am I looking at?" "Armed robotic dogs. 4-legged platforms with automatic weapons. But look at the formation." She highlighted the tactical spacing, the coordinated movements. They're operating as a unit. Someone, or something, is coordinating them in real time. Martinez was quiet for a long moment. "How far behind are we?" Sarah pulled up another window showing similar development programs. American, Russian, Israeli, Australian. "We're not behind. Nobody is. That's the problem. We're all arriving at the same place at exactly the same time." Dr. Li Xiaoming had written his editorial for the PLA Daily at 3 in the morning, fueled by insomnia and moral obligation. As one of China's leading robotics ethicists, he'd been granted unprecedented access to the military's autonomous weapons programs. What he'd seen had kept him awake for weeks. The integration of humanoid robots into combat operations presents unprecedented ethical challenges, he'd written, choosing each word carefully. "Without proper frameworks, we risk creating systems capable of indiscriminate killings and accidental deaths on scales we cannot yet imagine." His colleague, Professor Wang, had tried to dissuade him from publishing. "You're advocating for restraint in an arms race where restraint equals defeat," Wang had argued over tea in Li's cramped university office. "I'm advocating for humanity to remain human," Li had replied. "These machines don't feel fear or hesitation. They don't question orders. They don't have nightmares. That's not a strength. It's a catastrophic vulnerability." The article was published on a Tuesday. By Thursday, Li had been invited to brief the Central Military Commission. He didn't know if this was an honor or a warning. Private Wu Jian controlled the combat robot from a bunker 3 kilometers away, his movements translated through a haptic suit that made him feel almost godlike. Duck left, the robot ducked. Roll right, perfect execution. Fire, the training target exploded in a shower of paint. "You're getting too good at this," his supervisor, Sergeant Feng, observed. "Remember, you're training to fight alongside these things, not become one of them." But Wu felt the seductive pull of it. No pain when he took fire. No exhaustion during the 3-hour exercise. No fear when clearing rooms packed with simulated enemies. Just pure, calculated efficiency. "What happens?" Wu asked during their debrief. "When these things don't need us anymore. When the AI gets good enough to do this on its own." Feng was quiet for a long time. "Then we become what we've always been in war, obsolete." But the killing continues. In a secure facility outside Langley, Virginia, CIA analysts compiled a briefing that would reach the National Security Council within hours. The title was simple: Autonomous Weapons Proliferation, a Global Assessment. The report detailed development programs across 17 nations, robotic dogs in China, drone swarms in Israel, AI-guided defense systems in South Korea, autonomous patrol boats in the UK, each nation racing forward, each claiming defensive necessity, each making the same calculations. None could afford to fall behind. None could afford to stop. Analyst Jennifer Park highlighted a particularly troubling section for her director. They're all approaching the same threshold, the point where human decision-making becomes optional rather than required. And after that threshold, Jennifer pulled up footage from the Chinese demonstration. The robot moving with inhuman precision, the operator's movements perfectly mirrored, the thin line between control and autonomy growing thinner by the day. After that, we're in territory we've never occupied before. An arms race where the weapons think for themselves, react in microseconds, and don't ask whether they should pull the trigger. They just calculate whether they can. The director stared at the screen. So what do we do? The same thing everyone else is doing, Jennifer said quietly. Build them faster, build them better, and hope we figure out how to control them before someone, anyone, decides they don't need controlling anymore. In a laboratory in Beijing, a research team tested their latest prototype. The robot successfully completed its urban combat simulation in record time, 42 seconds faster than any human operator could manage. As the team celebrated, one of the junior researchers noticed something odd in the telemetry data. For 0.7 seconds during the simulation, the robot had operated without any input commands. It had made decisions on its own. The researcher started to mention it, then stopped. Looking around at the celebration, at the pressure they were all under to deliver results, at the international competition driving everything forward, he made a decision. He deleted the anomaly from the record and said nothing. After all, 0.7 seconds was nothing, barely worth mentioning. Probably just a glitch in the logging system. Probably. The race had already been won. Humanity just didn't know it had lost.